Hey everybody, how you doing today? We're coming on Christmas, and it's time for another Patreon video. And so I was thinking about all the different things I could do today. And of course, many of you know that I'm not, or if you've been following my channel for a while, you know I don't really play a lot of Christmas songs. I do the odd one now and again. It's never really been my thing. So I thought about what I could do, and I realized one of the things that's coming up a lot these days is the conversation of the dreaded E chord. Now, the dreaded E chord, of course, people never like playing it. They find it very difficult. We're talking about this lovely three-fingered chord here where you're covering the second, the third, and the fourth string on the fourth fret, and the first string on the second fret, creating this lovely... People don't like that. So some people have suggested the alternative version where you take a bar across the fourth fret and put your pinky on the seventh fret. And that's another great way to play that chord. And the challenge for a lot of beginners is, of course, that's the E, like the bar shape. It's so hard to get a good bar when you first start out. So we're going to give you a couple tips on that today. We're also going to show you a couple different ways to play the E chord that are much easier and take advantage of some of the inherent properties of the ukulele so that you can add E to your repertoire of chords. So, first things first. Your ukulele is tuned G, C, E, A. So we have an E note right there. That's our root of the chord. Now when we make our chord at the fourth fret here, covering these three strings, the second, the third, and the fourth, and the first string here, what we've got is we've got a B, we've got on our C, we've got our C string, we've got an E, so that's that one there, and then we've got on our E string, we've got a G sharp, and then we play another B on our A string. So this is how do you put it? This is how it breaks down in terms of the chord. We lose this E, and we gain an E here. So that becomes the low note in the chord, especially if you're playing on a re-entrant ukulele. So now, alternative one, the first alternative to playing this typical three-fingered approach with this here, which is a challenging chord. The first one is to do the bar at the fourth fret. Now, if you're going to use the bar, what you want to do is you want to start the bar, which is covering all four strings with one finger. You want to start the bar at the first knuckle. So don't try to put your fingertip on that top string. Use the knuckle. Push it a little beyond. The second thing is you want to make sure that your thumb is directly behind your finger. That gives you your clearest pressure point. And you should be able to get each note to ring out. And you don't have to worry too much about the A string though, because you're going to drop your pinky down onto the seventh fret. So you're going to get this note out of there, get it. That's the first way. That's the easiest. Now some people like to substitute a seventh in for this because there's that lovely E7 down here. It's easy. Problem is a 7 chord doesn't always work. So you can't just assume that E7 will replace E. It doesn't work that way. Sometimes you want E major. Now, another way that people get this chord is by using a partial bar up here and just playing these three strings and not worrying about this at all. So instead of even dropping the pinky, they're just covering this, which is perfectly fine. But here's the thing. If we pay attention to our notes, we have a lovely advantage in the ukulele, especially if you're using the re-entrant tune, the high G string. When we cover to get this B note here, this is the exact note as the B note on the A string. So the fourth fret on the G string is the same as the second fret on the A string. So that means that when I'm making this chord, I can cover just the fourth fret on the third string, fourth fret on the second string, and the second fret on the first string. So just like that, and get the same combination of notes. I still have my E note, I still have my G sharp and my B, which is the core of making the chord. But what's really interesting now is that I'm left with an open G string. So I have to be careful about playing that open G. I can't play that, but I can avoid it. The other side of that is that if I want to just play these notes up here, I've got that same. And even better, I can cover the 4th fret on the G string, the 4th fret on the C string, and leave the E string wide open and cover the B. So these are, again, 3-fingered variations that are completely E. Now, I can't leave that A open though, so. Or. So that's 3 different ways you can play the chord without using a 4-fingered approach. So it's a little bit easier to handle and gives you a few options. Now, if you're playing with a low G, it's a little bit different sounding, but it's the same effect. So I still have my B chord, or I have that B chord there, or I have as an option. So I hope that helps you out. It's pretty easy to work with, and something that is kind of maybe a lot of people don't pay attention to, or what those note values are. So just to go over it again, your G string, G, G sharp. I'm just counting up the frets one as I go. G, G sharp, A sharp, B. So the 4th fret is a B note. And on my A string, when I'm playing that 2nd fret, I have A sharp, and that 2nd fret is a B note. So those 2 notes are identical. So that means that I can eliminate one or the other of them in my chord form, as long as I don't play the open string, which can be a problem. Again, if I play that E chord with the 4th fret covered on the G string, the 4th fret covered on the C string, open on the 2nd string, and then I try to play that A in it, I do not have a solid E chord. I have something a little bit different. So what I want is to just stick to those 3 strings. Same with if I cover the 4th fret on the C, the 4th fret on the E, and the 2nd fret on the A. That's my E chord as well. So learn your notes, and it should be good. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching my video on the E chord. I'm really grateful to be able to do these for you, and I'd like to thank all of my Patreon subscribers for taking the time and committing their energy to helping keep this channel free for everybody. Now, if you haven't found out about Patreon before, follow the link, check it out. There's a lot of cool stuff on there. There's a lot of cool stuff coming for 2018 as well, and so I encourage you to check it out. In simple terms, you pay me to create these free videos that you watch, and everybody who watches this channel knows that they get 2 videos are put out every month. That's all I do, is 2. So you're only ever paying me for 2 videos. You can do that for as little as $1 per video. So as little as $2 a month, you can support me in the creation of this work for us, and you'll get all kinds of extra content, tutorials, information, travelogues, fun stuff. And as I said, I've got a lot of stuff coming for 2018. So have yourself a good Christmas, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.